Welcome back, them brothers from Inglewood podcast. My co-host Charley Mack in the studio. I'm Hoopie, and we're just excited to be back to share some information. We've got a great topic today, and hopefully you'll glean from it and learn some new things, and hopefully your feedback will give us some encouragement and how to prepare for the next episode. So we're excited, just to be together once again. And before I introduce the topic, I'm gonna give it to Charley Mack.
How you doing, everybody? It's good to be back, guys. Thanks for all the prayers out there. I've had a tumultuous last 5 days,
Yeah.
and it's been really, really bad for me. So everybody who's been listening and praying for me, I really appreciate the prayers. They was answered.
Yeah.
But I'm back, so let's get this thing going.
Well, it's interesting to know that in the coming days, we will see other, transitions and changes in society that really shakes us to the point of looking at our future,
Right.
As individuals. And it really ties into the topic that we're going to discuss today, which is, what does retirement look like for you?
Right.
And I'm a propose a question to you first, and then we can just dialogue about it because it's realistic. And so, what does retirement look like for you?
What does it look like, or how do I want it to be? But what it looks like for me, man, is not having a schedule. Waking up in the morning. For me, waking up in the morning, being able to meditate and stretch, and not knowing that I have to, let me hurry up and go to work. Just really taking my time and taking it slow and doing those little small things that we take for granted.
Okay.
Just getting those things done. Like, everybody wants to go to the gym and get themselves in shape and make sure that you're in shape mentally and physically and all that stuff. A lot of times when we have these demanding careers and these demanding jobs, it's hard to get all that done. You kind of got to cram it in, and let me get a quick workout, and let me get a quick prayer, and a quick whatever. But if you're retired, you don't have to worry about that. You don't have to worry about punching a clock.
Yeah. And if you have kids, they're probably old enough to fend for themselves.
Or they're out of the house.
Yeah.
You're either an empty nester, or either it's you and your wife or you and your companion, but you guys are doing what you want to do because you don't have to do anything else.
So it sounds like retirement for you is freedom, liberty to make choices.
Yeah.
So I think as well, for me, retirement would be on the same lines of independence.
Right.
I feel like I would be in a place to where I could set my own schedule, prepare my own agenda. If I want to stay inside today, I can stay inside. If I want to, go on a trip, I can do that. So it's really independence in a way to where your priorities have really shifted,
Yes.
right? The other thing is, when is it, or I would say, I would put it like this: when did you begin considering retirement?
It's funny, man. We get up every day, and the ones who do, we get up every day and we go punch the clock, and we got to jump in our cars and do what we got to do, but at some point it just kind of hits you, and it's going to hit everybody differently and at different times.
Yeah, because you said that earlier.
It just hits you, man. I think I came into the I think I came into the office maybe a couple of weeks ago, man, and I said, man, I don't want to work no more. I just want to, it just, so for everybody is different. For me, it hit me maybe a year ago where it just, I was like, man, I don't want to work no more. I would rather relax, do the things that I want to do. And I don't have to be, you don't have to be wealthy. You just need to be comfortable. You just need to be able to know that your mortgage is going to be paid or your rent's going to be paid. You have money to go and buy food and do the little things that you like to do.
Okay.
But the whole idea is having to get up to go do a job.
Yeah.
You know, we're kind of semi-retired because we don't have to punch a clock, but we still have to work so we can get money.
Yeah. Okay. You know, I and you know, to piggyback on that, I think I started considering retirement probably when I was approaching 30.
Oh wow.
But in a sense to where I knew back then I didn't want to punch anybody's clock.
Oh yeah, well yeah.
I mean, just because I think we were entrepreneurs by nature.
Right.
We were always in that environment to where we were hustling for something.
Right.
You know, whether, you know, it was we were collecting bottles, we were returning carts, you know, we were collecting those crates and those, you remember the trucks?
I remember.
You would come by and look for those trucks, you know, those crates and all those things. But I think when I approached 30, I had already had a mindset from high school that I was going to be this pro athlete.
Okay.
I don't think it was my dream. It was just conversation that was always in front of me by the older guys, to where I said, man, it would be cool if I could make it to the league and be rich.
Right.
Because, you know, you think about that's a fast way to be this multimillionaire. But even with that, it takes planning. You know, so I think considering retirement for me was more so how I could get into a place where I didn't have to punch a clock.
Yeah, and we've always had that entrepreneurial drive where you know we've always pretty much kind of worked for ourselves or you know we've had the mentality. You know, we've always had that mentality because you know we
be a go-getter.
Yeah, I mean we've been in a position where you know we both have you know we've accumulated a little wealth at some point in our lives. And we know how that has felt to have that wealth. And it's to be able to it's a lot of freedom. And I think in a nutshell that's really all people are looking for is just a little freedom and not to have people screaming down the back of their neck, you got to get this thing done, you got to get that done. You know, I think people just want to just, you know, when you've worked your whole life and 10, 20, 30, 40 years, you know, you've worked your whole life, at some point you're like, man, this is getting old, you know, and when we look at people on these networks and we look at these professional athletes and people who entertain us every day, whether it be the news or whatever, those are jobs, but they're not really jobs.
Right. That's fun. They don't consider that work because they enjoy it.
Not only do they enjoy it, they're enjoying the perks, they're enjoying the high salaries. You know, they're enjoying all the stuff that you know that you got. I mean, for example, you know, you got Facebook and Google. These companies, they make sure they take care of their employees because they know that their employees make the company what it is. These guys are coming to work. They feed them. They give them free daycare if they got kids. They give them incentives. You know, they give them bonuses. You know, and these guys are getting a fantastic salary. That's true. So those jobs, you know, you milk those jobs for as long as they don't want to retire. That's true. They work in a stress-free environment.
That's true. That's true. That's true. You know, the next thing is, what is your plan of action for retirement?
You know, I think we just got through talking about that, but I think we're working towards our plan of action. When we were just sitting here saying that we need to be able to do our podcast and do the things we want to do full time. You know, we want to be able to attract those sponsors and people who will support us in what we're doing, and we're doing something positive. And that way we can have a free mind and a free body and soul to where all we do is put 100% into what we're doing. And I think that's the key right there.
It is. I mean, you know, when we think of being on a job, let's just say for 20 years to 30 years, you worked a job and it's set up by design that you have to come off this job at a certain age or a certain amount of years. However, sometimes the years come faster than the qualified age.
Tell me about it.
And so you have to leave that 30-year job and go get another one, right? And it starts all over again because that's a new job, and everything that you accumulated on the last one doesn't transfer, right?
Yep.
So
there's no rollover.
There's no rollover, right?
Yeah.
So I say that to say that I would have to consider and prepare a way for me to, accumulate, some wealth or, finances to where something is in the bank, something has been put away to, in investment or whatever, that would give me some comfortability moving forward. Because I may not be as, old, in chronological age that I would, normally would be to retire. So I got to figure out something because I really don't want to go back to work in that capacity.
See, but it's so funny, man, because all this is education. This is stuff that, and I hate to bring this up, but the majority of white America, they've been taught this by their fathers and great-grandfathers and great-great-great-grandfathers to where they've been taught to, okay, you go to school, you get an education, you get a career, you put away this, you put away that.
Because we already have something for you to start off with.
And not only that, people don't understand what retirement is. This is what retirement is for the people who's done it right. Once they retire, their house is paid for.
Yeah.
The kids have already got put through college.
Yeah.
They've put away money for the grandkids.
Yeah.
They're probably living on over $1 million for the rest of their lives until they pass away. If you're 70 years old and you retire and you have, $1 million put away and you have it set up in a way where you're only getting a certain amount of money,
you're good.
You're gonna outlive that money is gonna outlive you.
Yeah.
Because you have it set up that way. Yeah. You don't have a mortgage. You don't have a car. You're not supposed to retire with a mortgage. People don't understand that. When you retire, your home, your cars, your credit card, all that stuff is supposed to be paid off.
Yeah, you're right.
And most of Americans, and I hate to say it, you have some black Americans and some white Americans. And the reason why I say the most of white America, they already have it already set up. They were taught that.
Yeah.
We wasn't taught that as young black kids, and we didn't. Our mom didn't teach us that.
Right. No.
Our grandfather, Big Daddy, and Big Mama, they didn't teach us that.
No.
Our other grandparents on our father's side, they didn't teach us that.
No.
So it's hard that you have to learn along the way.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's like, oh man, it's a little bit too late. I know people right now, man, that's well over, we're at kind of retirement age, and my house ain't paid for, your house ain't paid for,
right.
And you figure if I want to retire in another 10 years or whatever, you don't want to retire getting $5,000-$6,000 a month, and half of it is going on a mortgage.
On bills, yeah.
Like you said, I got to think about it. Well, let me think about getting another job.
Yeah.
Really,
you would have to.
That's not what retirement is.
No, it's not.
Retirement is comfortability.
Yeah.
I don't have to do anything.
Right.
Retirement is O.J. Simpson. I got 25 bands coming in every month, and I don't have to do nothing stupid like he did. Right.
Yeah.
That's what retirement is, man. When you got it coming in,
that's true.
And you don't have an overhead.
That's preparation.
You prepared.
And like you said, some of us had to learn it late.
The hard way.
And the hard way.
We're learning it the hard way.
Yeah. But we have to pass it on because we still have small kids.
Yeah. And that's where
we have to continue. Yeah.
That's what we have to do. We have to educate our kids. We have to educate the people, the younger people that we mentor and look up to us. Viewing. We have to tell them, look, man, that ain't how you do it. You got to make sure you got to do it a different way. You got to. We didn't think about it, man. When we were in high school, we didn't know what the hell a financial advisor was.
No.
We didn't know what stocks were.
No.
But white America knew.
We barely knew how to save. And
white America knew.
And what we were saving for was the weekend.
Yeah.
We wanted to go get a haircut.
Yeah.
And wanted to go to a movie. And God forbid if we were 15 and up, we were trying to go on some kind of date. Meet the girl at the mall. And, you might have to buy her hot dog on a stick or something.
Man.
We were, that was the only part of savings, financial literacy I understood.
Listen, I'm sure you've had it too. There's times where I've had young white men in my car, and these are guys that you remember when they used to have all those conferences out in like Anaheim and Long Beach, and you pick all these different guys up. So I'm sitting there, I'm driving these gentlemen, I'm listening to them, and these guys we're old enough to be their dad. They're like 28, 29, even 32.
They're young,
and I'm listening to them. These guys are talking about investments, what they've already invested in. They're talking about stocks, and how would they know that?
Home purchases.
Because their parents taught them.
And half of them were already in there.
So these guys are preparing these guys are preparing themselves for when they get in their 50s and their 60s or whatever. And don't get me wrong, I'm not saying all white America has it going on. Right. And I'm not saying all white America is doing better than everybody else. Right. But I'm just saying the majority of them, they've had that education.
Yeah.
And we haven't.
That's true. I think when you know better, you do better. But like you said, it's up to guys like ourselves to continue passing the information along so that our generation that has come after us will at least have heard the news, so to speak.
Yeah.
I think also, like you were saying, when I was Ubering and people were in the car, various backgrounds, various chronological ages, no matter what, whether we were going to get something to eat or we were, driving these people, man, the conversation was always about bread.
It was different.
It was always about strategic financial planning. It was about buying things, and if I turn this, I'll get that in return. And I was like, wow, why is it always when you going through a certain environment, they're talking about money. They're talking about the future.
Perfect example, man. Perfect example. I guarantee you go to Tom Brady's home and look in his garage and look in his bedroom at his jewelry box and all that stuff. You're not going to see none of the flashy stuff that Mayweather has.
Oh.
Or a lot of these other professional black athletes have. Yeah. Because they didn't learn that. The parents didn't teach
Emphasize
them when you
that. That wasn't the point of
They didn't teach them when you get a bunch of money, you run out and buy a $100,000 watch or a $1.2 million Bugatti. And you can't even some of these brothers can't even spell Bugatti. These guys, they'll go out and buy a Toyota Ranger or something like that. They don't care about that.
And sometimes sponsors give them vehicles, so they don't have to go out and like Tiger Woods. And unfortunately, we just heard he was in a bad accident.
Yeah.
But Tiger Woods
and our prayers go out to him and his family.
Definitely. Cadillac and Buick.
Yeah. Oldsmobile.
Which is GMC, right?
Yeah.
So he was sponsored. Even Rolex sponsored him. But you're right. You're absolutely right. Our value systems are different.
It's because I'm going back to the educational part of it. Right. We wasn't educated to do the right thing. Okay. Because our parents and our grandparents and our great grandparents or whatever, they didn't know. And white America, they not gonna give us the game. Because they want to be in the game by themselves. I mean, if you think about it, they're not going to try to help us. Right. We don't get look, all these things that these black people are doing, that game came from white America. They already did that game. Yeah. They already made way advances in that game. Yeah. In black America, you late. Right. They already done it.
Yeah, it's burned out.
Yeah. I'm not going to mention any name, but there's a wealthy family right now. And the reason why that wealth is continued to have money and that family is going to continue to be wealthy is because their father back in the 1930s and 20s was a bootlegger. And this guy, to this day, that family gets a couple of cents off of each liquor bottle that you twist the cap on. That family's still getting money. Wow. Because the daddy set it up that way. And that's what wealth is. That's when you hear people say, "Oh, that's old money." Yeah. That's what old money means. Yeah. Money that's gonna continue to keep like the Hiltons. Yeah. It ain't the mother and father of Paris Hilton that got the money.
No, it's the
grandparents.
The great grandparents.
It's those people. Yeah. But it goes back to what I'm saying. Yeah. they've set their family up for success. They'll never lose it all. Yeah. It's the same thing with Michael Jordan. His kids and kids, with that family dynasty will live on forever. Yeah. Yeah. Because he's been able to set it up to where his family's gonna be okay, and his grandkids and it's gonna be okay. He's leaving a lasting legacy to where no one's gonna have to ever worry.
An inheritance.
And that's what most of white America has done for their family.
They've left an inheritance.
And that's why they're so far ahead of us. That's why sometimes, you meet a guy and you be like, oh yeah, my granddad, perfect example. This is the truth. The building that I was living in, and we both lived in it, that building was left to Bob when he was 17. Right. He's ahead of the game. Yeah. He has a 4-unit property left to him at 17 years old.
He's still in high school.
And he still has that property, and that property is bringing him positive cash flow every single month. Yeah. That's what it is, man. That's what they do.
Yeah. What will you do once you retire?
What would I do? I'm going to tell you what I'm going to do. Because I thought about this. I want to pick up golf again. Because I started golfing a long, long time ago. And I just did a little bit. And I liked it. And I'm going to start back golfing. I want to increase my meditation and increase my my working out to make sure my body is fitness right. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And I want to be able to take a trip here and there when I want to and travel. I want to travel, man. Yeah. People don't understand. People don't understand how important it is and how more valuable it is to take a trip to, let's just say, to an exotic place and be there for a couple of weeks versus you go out and buying a fancy car. You can keep that mental
lasting memory
forever. That material possession, it comes and goes.
Yeah, wears out.
It goes, but I want to travel, man. That's the main thing.
Me too.
I want to be able to travel.
Yeah.
And it doesn't even have to necessarily be out of the country or whatever. But I want to be able to say, hey man, we're going down to the West Indies for a week.
Yeah,
let's go to Barbados. Let's go to the Virgin Islands. Let's go to the Dominican. Puerto Rico.
And it's crazy because when you travel abroad, those are not. Sometimes people are on business trips. I get that.
Right.
But those type of trips are not turnarounds.
No.
You got to spend a month.
Oh, no. At least 3 weeks.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. A couple of weeks
everybody
minimum.
That I've talked to.
Minimum, couple weeks.
Well, the people that I've talked to, they're like, if you're going to come to Europe, any part of Europe from the States, unless you've come enough to where you know this area. Right. You're not doing yourself justice if you don't stay a month. And they say that because it takes you literally probably a week just to adjust physically to the time zone. Yeah. So I was advised many years ago, if you're going to vacation or you're going to travel
to someplace like that,
you gotta be prepared to go 4 to 5 weeks.
I'm gonna tell you something, man. I'm gonna tell you something, dude.
That's it, because you'll never learn the culture and wherever you going to visit.
I'm gonna tell you something, man.
It's not enough time.
You are 100% correct, and I'm gonna tell you why. And you've probably encountered this as well. I used to pick up passengers in the summertime from Australia.
From Australia.
Cameron, they would be here for a month.
At least a month.
Cameron, they would be here for a month. I would say, well, what are you guys doing? They say, oh, we've been to San Francisco. Yep. We've been to New York. We've been to Las Vegas. We've gone to Disneyland.
San Diego.
I said, well, damn. And it'd be a family of like 5.
Yep.
But and you know me, I ain't got no filter. I'm like, well, y'all wealthy? Right. The father like, well, no, we saved and we planned for it.
Exactly.
But you're right. They coming from Australia, another country, or Canada. Cameron, they come here. Every last one of them is a month. At least 3 to 4 weeks.
Yeah,
You're
not coming over here to turn around.
You're right,
they're coming over here to learn.
No. You're right.
This culture.
You're right, and to see all the places they wanted. Because in return they said, well, we can't afford to do this all the time. So when we come, we go big.
Somebody else told me
that's
one
crazy.
Time,
you said that. You're right.
From Australia, they was like, we had to try the In-N-Out burger.
Oh my! If I had a nickel for every customer, can you take me to In-N-Out? I'd be rich.
They wanted to go In-N-Out. Yeah. You know, so yeah, you're right. And I would too. I you know, once I would retire, or once I am retired,
yeah.
I would definitely concentrate on my mental health, my spiritual health,
yeah.
my physical health.
Yeah.
I would get an activity.
Yeah.
And I would travel.
Yeah.
I would travel extensively.
Yeah.
I think that's one thing I've always enjoyed, just, you know, being in the States, you know, when I was invited places to preach.
Right.
Invited places to visit.
Right.
It was always a new experience. I look forward to it.
Well, me and you've always been the adventurous ones in our family. I mean, me and you we've always traveled.
Yeah.
And we enjoy it. And you know, we have a mom who, you know, she ain't going nowhere, you know. And I can remember times when you would be somewhere and I would call, hey mom, what's happening? Where's Hoop? He over here, he there. That's my mom. He's enjoying himself. I mean, it's what we do.
Yeah.
You know,
and it's a learning experience. People don't understand that exposure is education.
Man, think about all the things that we've learned traveling to the states that we've gone to, and the cities, and seeing different things. Mm-hmm. You know, when you was in Philly, and when you was in in Ohio, and you know, in Pittsburgh, and all those type of places. I mean, those places are different than here. You know, when I was in Memphis, and we just talking about in the States. Memphis is different. Texas is different. Ohio is different. All those places that I've gone to, you know, they're different than LA, man. And even then, when you go there, you got to at least go for at least a week. Yeah. You have to. Yeah. To go, you know, especially people don't really understand. And I think the reason why it was so much backlash about this whole attack, the terrorist attack on Capitol Hill, is because I don't think people really understand how sacred Capitol Hill is, and how there's a lot to see there. There's a lot of history in D.C.
A lot of history.
I've been to D.C. a few times, man, and there's a whole lot to do. I'm telling you.
That's the epitome of government.
Oh, man.
That's the United States.
Look,
there.
That's the mothership.
Yeah, that's
the mothership.
Engine. That's the engine,
right? That gets everything cranked up. You know, you have the Lincoln Monument. You have, you know, everything is right there. You know, the Smithsonian Institute. Yeah. You know, if you've never gone to the Smithsonian, guys,
I want to
go to the Smith.
I want to visit.
Go to the Smithsonian.
Yeah, I endeavor.
It's like a gigantic presidential library, but you would be blown away.
Yeah, I'd like to visit that one day. Do you foresee retirement being an advantage or a disadvantage?
I think it can be both. I think we both know people who's retired and they're not utilizing all their resources that they should for being retired. So I think it can be both. But for me personally, it would definitely be an advantage. Okay. I'm going to take every advantage and every opportunity that I have as a retired person who doesn't have to work and who doesn't have to worry about, if I don't go work, I don't get a paycheck. I'm going to take advantage of mine. So it's going to be an advantage for me.
Okay. So I think what makes it more comfortable to be retired is having the liberty to do other things without being under the demand of being in one place, right? So the freedom aspect is always advantageous. And I think also, like you spoke of earlier, with foreparents and ancestry, preparing the way for future generations makes it worthwhile and gives us an advantage, because we have not only benefited from that I would say benevolence, but we also prepared along the way, like you and I have to do. We have to set something aside, set something up to where it will generate income.
And like I said, that goes back to me saying, you have to understand, it's not that all ethnicities are set up more financially than us. Yeah. They've been educated and they know how to do it. For example, you may have a family, a husband and wife who may have 2 small kids. The minute before that child comes out of their womb, they're already putting money away for that kid for college. They may invest in $1,000 stock. They may say, I'm gonna invest $1,000 in these stocks, and when my daughter turns or my son turns 18, that $1,000 hopefully would have grown into whatever. But they set this stuff up when the kid is in the womb.
No, you're right. You're right.
We don't do that, and it's a few reasons why we're not educated to do it. And a lot of times we're not set up to do it. And it's all
that's not
about
all
education.
of us, though.
It's not all of us, but it's a lot of us.
Yeah, but it's not. I mean, because people have actually learned to do better now.
But they don't.
No, I'm just saying.
They know to do better,
what I'm saying
but
is
they don't.
The information is there. It's a lot of people who have very good jobs, and they don't necessarily work in corporate America.
Yeah.
They work, domestically, but they have found a way. I know a couple of people, man, they got income properties. They got some annuities, and these are people that haven't been to college.
Yeah, but somewhere along the line, someone gave them the game.
But what I'm saying is, we can't just say all of our race.
I didn't say all. But I'm saying that I'm speaking about our race because we're black.
But I'm just saying all of our race is not still living in that vein.
Okay, you're right. Perfect example. We know, well, I'm not even going to put them on Front Street on camera.
Please don't.
I'm not.
Please
But what I'm saying is we know people that could have done better, and a lack of fear didn't do better.
True.
I know people like that right now.
True.
I'm talking about a married couple who, and we talked about this before, but this is a married couple. They both retired. They both have pretty decent retirements or whatever. But this is a family who never bought income property.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? What I'm saying is,
a fact.
Yeah. So what I'm telling you is, you have people that they may choose not to do that. They may say, well, nah, this ain't what I want to do. You have people, listen, you have to understand this. You have people that just want to work, retire, get their little retirement pension, and that's it.
True.
You got people, they don't want the ceiling.
Yeah.
They want it right here. They don't want to go all the way to the top.
Okay.
They rather have this comfort zone. Like, you know what? I'm comfort getting my little, $4,000 or $5,000 a month retirement. Mm-hmm. I'm okay.
No, you're
but
right.
You got people like me and you.
Right.
We want more in life, and you have a lot of other people that's viewing. They want more.
They have more aspiration.
You gotta have more and that's what it's all about. You gotta be inspired and have aspirations to want more.
That's
you
true.
don't wanna just settle for what life is gonna give you.
Right. That's a mindset.
Yeah, and then this is how society had it set up. You can't draw retirement until you're 65 years old. Half the people won't even live to 65. And even when
they may be unhealthy.
Even when you get it at 65, you probably got a good 10 more years. You're not even gonna get everything that was given to you. And then when you die, guess what? You can't even roll your own retirement over because that's your money. I'm talking about the money you had on you. You can't even roll it over and say, well, I'm gonna give it to my daughter or my son or my whatever. It's done.
It's done. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
I'm telling you, man, it's a racket.
So basically it's a game.
It's a racket. I mean, think about it, man. I don't know about you, man, and maybe we can address this on a whole nother topic, but I think since I turned I think in the last couple of years, man, I've been really, really thinking about my mortality.
Oh yeah,
I do.
Yeah,
and
that's normal.
And the older we get, and we're starting to see more and more people that's our age and people that we know, they're passing away.
Yeah.
So you start thinking like, well, man, I'm no different than this guy or this girl.
No.
They can check out, I can check out.
Right.
So you start really putting your mental stuff in check. Like, man, am I gonna make it? Am I gonna even live for another 10 years? So, and I've lived this way my whole life. I take it day by day, every day.
Me too.
I don't ever take anything for granted. I always say, hey,
it's day to day with me.
Listen, it ain't guaranteed tomorrow. It ain't guaranteed the next hour.
Well,
and I always tell people like, hey, well, you gonna go to? Oh yeah, God willing, we'll do that next week.
Right.
God willing.
Yeah, because and mom has really gotten on me about this, over the years. I'm like this, bro. I don't need nothing left behind. Whatever's in the bank,
you spending it?
I'm spending that.
Yeah.
And what I really mean is this. Of course, I'm always saving for my children.
Oh yeah, you want to leave stuff for the kids, of course.
I'm always, because they're entitled to an inheritance.
Yeah.
So yes, all of these years since I was blessed to have children, I've always thought about making sure something is put aside for them.
For the kids.
That's only right. The Bible says that we should leave an inheritance for our children's children, right? So of course, I want my children to be good. Even their mom, if I'm able to make sure that she's comfortable or she has something to contribute, if I should transition,
right.
I think that that's my job, right? But at the end of the day, for me, for Cameron, I don't want nobody at my home going saying, yeah, he had like $500,000 in the bank. He had 20 cars. No.
I know people like that.
I'm not hoarding anything.
I know people
I'm using it.
I know people like that.
I'm using
mine too.
When they say, well, he this and that, it's like, yeah, he spent it all.
Listen, that's what a eulogy means.
He spent it all.
A eulogy.
He lived his life.
To speak well of.
Yeah.
That's what eulogizing somebody means. Yeah. Eulogizing someone doesn't mean preaching. It means talking about this person and the way they live. To speak well of. And when you check out, and when those people come up there and start talking about the way you live your life, you want people to speak well of you.
Right.
You want people to say, hey man, this guy was always out of town. He was in this state, this country, this whatever. He did cruises. That's how you want to live.
Right.
I'm not going to be one of those guys where I have something and I didn't do anything.
Right. Or do nothing for someone else.
Yeah, of course.
The last question, and which is really great because I think this helps the viewers. What advice would you give to anyone who's considering retirement?
My advice, my personal advice, and then you can give yours. My advice would be make sure that you've planned for your retirement. Make sure that you've set yourself up the best you could to where you're comfortable. Make sure retirement doesn't mean waking up in the morning, sitting on your lazy boy, watching TV. That's not what retirement means. No. Retirement means, because usually when you retire, we're a little older. So if you start sitting around,
get out of shape.
Listen,
you get unhealthy.
You're gonna get unhealthy. Yeah. So, make sure that you utilize everything that you can to take advantage of that retirement. Yeah. That's the advice I would give, and just make sure you set yourself up to where you're gonna be comfortable.
Yeah.
As comfortable as you can.
Right.
And as comfortable as you have allowed yourself to be.
Yeah, and I agree. I would also suggest that as you consider retirement, understand that there are so many other aspects to life.
Yeah.
Getting a hobby, making sure you get an activity.
That's what I said.
And also living the best that you can live each day.
Yeah.
With a clear head, with a positive mindset. I really believe that living for all of us, whether we're working or we're retired, is how we view life. Mm-hmm. What does life bring for you, and what do you bring to life? I think that makes the company you keep much better.
Yeah.
Because you're not always, under duress, you're not frustrated, you're pleasant.
Yeah.
I think when people are at peace, they're pleasant.
And you treat other people
it's like an aroma. People want to be around
you.
It's
positive energy.
Exactly, because they can feel that energy. They know. They was like, man, there's something about Charles, man. It's like whenever I'm around him, I smile, or he got me laughing, or so you look forward to that.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, Charles, you guys coming out what you guys doing in the morning? Let's go get coffee.
Yeah.
Because
that's what I'm talking about.
That creates an environment that's really worth being in. And I tell guys even today, and then I'll let you close us out. But I say this all the time. I said, bro, you have these negative things to say because that's the negativity that you think of about life and about people. And then you're surrounded by negative people. Bro, I don't want nothing negative if it's not going to challenge me to be better.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? So really we choose our environments, and so my advice to anyone who's considering retirement is to be wealthy in your way of thinking, be wealthy in your physical, aspect, taking care of your body, like you were saying earlier, and just having a positive approach, as you move forward, because tomorrow's not promised
at all.
You can
at all.
Healthy people pass away, so tomorrow's not promised. So you got to live every day like it's your last.
Yeah. I mean, there's so many twists and turns in life and you never know where it's lurking. Think about what just happened to me.
That wasn't planned. That wasn't on your agenda.
Come on,
you never woke up that morning thinking, and you came home from work.
Yeah, and my life changed.
All in an instant.
Life changed.
But exactly. But see, the thing about it is, when you look at those experiences, it actually takes you to the next level in your meditation,
right? In
your approach,
right?
You know what I'm saying? Because nothing happens through happenstance. I don't believe that. No. I believe things happen on purpose, but how we respond, I believe, is strictly on us.
Yeah.
So
and each time things happen to us in life, it's a learning lesson. and no, really, you have to take every single thing that happens to you in your life, whether it's positive or whether it's negative, and you have to learn from it. Because if you don't learn from it, you'll go right back down to that same thing. You have to learn from everything that happens to you in your life. You really do.
Yeah, you're right.
You really do.
Great topic as usual. You came up with another winner, and I appreciate that because we can draw from it.
Yeah.
And it seems like it's always timely when you deliver a topic such as this one. Thank you to the Coalesce Group and your support and sponsorship. We always want you to like, subscribe, and share the content that we're giving out. Hopefully it's beneficial to you. And so I want to say thanks for following us on all of our social media platforms. We're getting ready to really start putting out some product so that you might feel, it may be, good for you. We're going to have some apparel, some gear that we're going to start, putting out there for sale, and hopefully, you'll like it. And so I'm just going to give it to my co-host, Charley Mack, and let him close us out.
Thank you guys for tuning in, and we're always up for the challenge to give you guys good content and talk about real positive things that you can actually relate to.
Yeah.
We're not up here talking about a bunch of foolishness. So we're gonna keep on bringing it to you, and I hope you guys continue to support us. And again, I want to thank my brother for sending up the prayers for me and taking care of things while I was in a really, really, really tumultuous situation.
Yeah.
And if it wasn't for my loved ones who were really had my back, I probably wouldn't have been able to come through it. So we're gonna talk about that too, man. On another thing about having support.
Yeah.
So anyway, guys, peace.
You always got these slamming topics.
Peace.